Hello, welcome everyone, and welcome to Inspiring Minds, where we are meeting with entrepreneurs and visionary leaders of all kinds who are using the tools of mindset, leadership, and transformation in their business and their lives to create a massive impact. This evening, we have Mary Jenkins, who is a very special woman. She's an alumni of Next Level Trainings and just a light in the community. And so I'm so excited to have you on the show this evening, Mary. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to be here.
Yay! Beautiful, beautiful. So you are joining us from Columbus, Ohio. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Whoops! I did not mean to put that up on the screen. That's cute. Okay. Cool. Columbus, Ohio, and you've been really a massive giver in the community there for years. Will you tell me? Yeah. Will you tell me about how? So you have this amazing organization supporting people with overcoming cancer, supporting them financially, supporting them with just any of their needs that they have. And you were doing this long before Next Level Trainings. Like you were out there as an advocate. So I'd love to just talk about how you got started with that and what your journey has been. You've had this really epic, tremendous story.
Okay. Well, I definitely, I would love to share with you. When I share what has happened, it's like, okay, I didn't ask for it, but I didn't realize that, my life experience was going to be something that would change the entire world. I had no idea. Wow. And so back in 2006, I got diagnosed with stage 3, almost stage 4 breast cancer. Wow. And totally by accident, I was wrestling with my son and he elbowed me in the chest and it hurt. And, a couple of days later, I was like, this still hurts. I think I should go to the doctor. And wow. I went to the emergency room and they thought they saw something. And so, the emergency room doctor thought he felt something. And he had me go get a mammogram. And I was 38 years old. So I hadn't even reached the benchmark age of 40. I was 38 and I went to go get this mammogram done. And sure enough, there was a 5-centimeter mass directly in the center of my breast. You could barely feel it. And so my youngest son, he technically saved my life.
Okay. That's great. Awesome.
I'll call it what it is. Because really, if he had never elbowed me in the chest, I wouldn't have felt it. So there's no telling when I would have felt it, and it may have been stage 4 by the time I did. So I give him his credit. We wrestled and he won, and so he did. But I had this mass, and they wanted to start chemotherapy right away, and I was like, man, they wanted to cut my breast off right away, and I was like, I'm not ready to get rid of my girl yet. Can we? Is there something else? And so we agreed to do the chemo. And when I was doing chemo, that was a whole situation crazy in itself. But I was like, man, I got breast cancer. Okay, I got breast cancer. Now, first of all, every time that I saw anything about breast cancer, it was always white people, white women. So I didn't even know Black women got breast cancer. I mean, not even trying to be funny.
It's actually not funny at all, but you've got a good
I was
smile
like,
about it.
Like, man, I get it. So I reached out to the Coleman, the Susan G. Komen Foundation, and I was like, I'm your girl. I'm going to let everybody know because, then I started researching and I found out that, African-American females, we get diagnosed less often, but we die more often. And I was like, what? Okay, I'm going to be the face of the Komen Foundation. I'm going to help people understand the importance of getting checked and all these great things. So I was like pro the Komen Foundation. And then chemo started and I started getting sick. And I was working at the time, and the more sick I got, I couldn't go to work. And so my employer, called me in the office and told me that he wanted me to really focus on my recovery. So they were going to let me go so that I could focus on my recovery. Wow. And I was like, okay, I understand, I understand. I can go to chemo, that I don't have to worry about getting up and won't get sick at work and thrown up all over the place and body aches and all that. I can just focus on recovery.
Okay, but were they going to let you go with disability, or were they?
No.
No.
They were letting me go.
Ooh.
And it didn't click. It didn't click until it was time to pay some bills. And it was like, man, I've been off work. I don't know how I'm gonna pay my bills. But I had this idea. Since I'm the new, I was like, since I'm gonna be the new face of the Komen Foundation, I'll just ask them. They breast people. So, and they do the Race for the Cure, and they raise millions of dollars. And so I'm just going to ask them. I'll go to them and get help. And that was when I found out that, they don't use the money that they raise to help in the manner in which I needed. They'll help the person get a mammogram or, help with treatment, but we're not going to help me pay my rent or my electric or my gas or my water, my car note, car insurance, cable bill, cell phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what did you do? My God, that's an intense experience.
It was. They referred me to the American Cancer Society, and I figured, okay, and found out that they don't do it either. So it's like, okay. And then as time was going on, I knew that if I didn't pay the rent, I was going to get evicted. I mean, you don't pay your bills, you can't stay someplace. My lights were going to get turned off, and I'm like, here I am, single parent, 3 kids, got bills to pay. How's this going to work? And, I had an income coming in because my husband died on active duty when I was 19, which, so I had an income, but I had a good job, and together we had a great life. And so when the income went away, it was like, we still living our life, but we still have these bills. And so it was a very humbling experience. I went and applied for welfare, cash assistance, and I was turned down because I had not been unemployed long enough. So they go by your income, and prior to, I had a good income, and so I wasn't ineligible, and that sent me, straight to my church. I needed to have a conversation with God, and anybody that knows me knows I'm a preacher, and I was like, me and God got to talk. God, hey, I trust you and everything, but I need you to understand this is what's going on, and I don't know. You said you were a provider, and if you're a provider, how is it that I'm about to get evicted and lose everything? Because this just doesn't make any sense. And I had a whole conversation, and fortunately, it was loud enough to where the people that were in the office heard me. And so, my pastor comes out and asks what's going on, and I explained the situation. And so my church offered to pay my bills while I was going through treatment, which totally was a blessing for me. But I was like, that's good for me, but who's helping all the other breast cancer patients? Because I know they need help too. And somebody's got to do something to help them, because this doesn't make any sense that there's these millions of dollars that's raised and it's not being used to help the people. And they were like, yes, Mary. And I was like, we got to find somebody. Yes, Mary. Not me.
I see where this is going.
I don't do that because I'm shy. And they were like, Mary, just tell your story. Just tell your story. And so I started telling people where money goes and where it doesn't go. And people had no idea. And they were like, well, man, I don't want to just fund research. Is it okay if I give some money to you? And I was like, you can give it to me because my church is paying my bills. So I'll find somebody else to give it to when I go to treatment. So I was like, okay, next time I go to treatment, yes, to see who I might be able to help. And it was then that I knew. I knew I had gone to this one chemo treatment, and the woman was attached by her port, and she was sitting in the chair, and I was attached also. And for her, there was a man that was knelt down beside her. And when he was knelt down, he was weeping. So he wasn't just regular crying, like he was weeping. And paying attention, I'm like, well, I wonder what their story is. And so when I finished my treatment, I got up and went over and I asked the question, are you guys okay? And the gentleman explained that his wife would have a reaction to the chemo. And normally what they would do is they would stay overnight. They get a hotel room, stay overnight, and then leave, because they were from Lima, Ohio. This time he didn't have any money to pay for a hotel room. and he couldn't find anyone that would give them a hotel room. And so he was breaking down because he had just told his wife that they were going to have to sleep in the car. I was like, it's going to be okay. My name is Mary Jenkins. Here. And I reached in my bag and just pulled out a wad of cash. I don't even know how much I gave them. But they were happy. And when I walked away, I said, I could do this for the rest of my life. And I didn't even understand what I was saying, because at that moment I was just focused on breast cancer patients.
Okay.
I breast cancer.
Thought of the bigger picture for that.
I hadn't gotten it yet, but 4 months later, Ohio Health, which is the hospital system here, referred a woman.
It's the big one, right? It's the bigger. Yeah, it's huge. Right?
Yeah. A huge one. They referred a woman who needed $150, or her car was going to get repossessed. They referred her to us. And so I was like, of course, this is what we do. We Christians overcoming cancer. Yes. Okay. My church made it possible. We 501c3. We go do this thing. Yes. And when she came, I remember asking her what type of breast cancer did she have? And she said she didn't have breast cancer. She had cervical cancer. And I told her we couldn't help her because she had the wrong type.
Oof.
Yeah.
Because you were just so focused on this one thing, you hadn't even seen that there was other possibilities there.
All I knew was breasts. That was it. I was trying to keep mine, and all I knew was breasts. But in that moment, I was like, oh man, I missed the mark. And so she was like, it's okay. Everyone does things for breast cancer. And I was like, it's not okay. I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I'm mad now that there's stuff for breast cancer patients and not for y'all. And she was like, well, it's okay. And I was like, I'm the right one that can fix it. And so I called all the board members and I told them I never wanted to tell someone that they had the wrong type of cancer ever again in life.
Wow.
And they asked me, was I sure? And I said, yes. And in my mind, I meant in Columbus, Ohio, but we didn't say that. And so they started coming from Cleveland and Toledo and Cincinnati. And I was like, okay, can't say you have to be from Columbus, Ohio. So we figure out how to help them. And then they started coming from Georgia and Texas and California and New York and Michigan. And I was like, okay, can't say you have to be an Ohioan. So we'll figure out how to help them. And then they started coming from Canada and Mexico and Johannesburg, South Africa, and England and Turkey and Bangladesh. And yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yes.
Because you guys are one of the only, you're the top organization that is supporting people who are with financial difficulties during cancer. Yeah.
So today there are other cancer organizations out there that will provide support. The challenge is most of them will say, we can help you with housing up to $500 once in your life if you're income eligible and you live in this area and there's this and there's this and there's this. Mm-hmm. We don't say that. We have 2 requirements. Inactive treatment, have a need that we can verify.
Wow.
That's it. And so we get everybody. From the Komen Foundation refers people to us, American Cancer Society, St. Jude, your Blue Cross Blue Shield, your MD Anderson's, your St. Jude's, you name it. We get referrals from everywhere. The pink riders, you name it. Because we're the ones that will say, tell us what it is that you need, and we'll raise the money to help you with what you need. Because if I'm facing eviction and my rent is $900 and you can only give me $500, now I'm stressed because I got to find $400. It's less, but I'm still stressed because I got to find $400 versus just
let's just make the life better for you.
Right. You need $900. Okay. Who you renting from? Okay. Let's make certain that, it's not the cousin or something. Let's make sure it's legitimate. We verify that. And then we verify the amount that the person needs, and then we'll send them a payment.
My goodness. So where do you get your, so this has been going on for now, what, 12, 14 years, something long term, yeah?
Yes.
Since 2006?
Yep, since 2006.
Oh my goodness, great. So 14 years, that's incredible. Probably going on 15 here.
Yep.
And how much have you raised total?
Oh God. The last time we tried to assemble all the how much we've raised, it's over 500,000.
Wow.
So yeah, and through the years, and and then next level. Whoop, whoop, I got to throw the shout out. Got to VIP 26 Vision Impact Program. The 26th leadership team raised $119,000 for the organization in January of 2020. So, 2020 visionaries.
Oh my God. So we got to support you directly in what you're creating. And you got to say, like, so much of the funds were just going directly to people in need because you're in charge. Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's so exciting. So you literally, I mean, this is the thing that's awesome about leadership is like seeing a need. And instead of looking around, it's like, who's going to handle this? Who's going to handle this? Like, oh, actually, it's me. Like, I get to be the leader. I get to step in. I get to be in contribution.
Yeah. And
it sounds like as soon as you got that and started supporting, like the universe sent you more, and you seem like you shine from the inside out. Like it obviously is doing something for you when you're giving and being in contribution. I've
always been a giver. And I mean, so I never wanted to be in ministry because I was like, I'm just not that type of person. I don't do that. I got too much have fun in me. And so I tried to run and did not realize that literally the universe, God was going to orchestrate my entire life to where it would be ministry. But even though I had, 13 and a half years of building the organization, there was still an element of me that I had not even tapped into, because when I got diagnosed, a part of me felt that Mary Jenkins, the person, had died, and that now I was Mary Jenkins, the head of the organization. So everything was work. I'm working. I'm working. I was a workaholic to the point where when I had reconstruction surgery that failed, I was working in the nursing home while I was supposed to be recovering. When I got diagnosed the second time, I did 8.5 months of chemo, or 8 months of chemo in 3.5 months because I was working. I had meetings scheduled, and I had heart failure, diabetic ketoacidosis. I had all this stuff still going on and was not paying attention to what was going on with me, because all I could see was I have to raise this money because there's people battling cancer that need help. But then it was like, well, what if what you gonna do? Self-care. If you're not, how are you gonna help other people if you're not the best version of you that you could be? And oh my goodness, next level training. Oh my God, my whole life. So I am next level. I mean, woo. Oh, that's such a beautiful story. So when you came to next level, you literally had that epiphany, that transformation, that realization that like, wow, I have to be giving to myself in order to be a leader in the world. Yeah, there were so many little things that going through the discovery training, it's called discovery for a reason. You discover things about yourself. And then then there was the breakthrough, and I got to break through those things. And in breaking through those things, I was like, I wonder if this stuff really works. I'm going to see if I can apply some of this when I go to my next speaking engagement. And it was like, oh my goodness, because people weren't just seeing the Mary that raises money to help people battling cancer, or, they were seeing Mary, and they were seeing my heart. And I'm a crybaby anyway, but they saw the passion behind what I did, and they weren't seeing that before. And it was like, wow, I didn't even realize it. And so it's like, I freely give of myself so much more, but I take care of myself too. And it's like, oh, this is what I was missing. I was missing the love Mary, so that the love in me could be shed abroad and people could really receive it. So. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. So besides from just having more fun, more joy, more love in your life,
how have you experienced that being able to really shine as you has supported you with your organization? Have you noticed a shift there?
I have. So with VIP 26, of course, the organization was chosen as the community service project, which started a total transformation of the organization as a whole, to the point where we established a care center. And so with the care center, and not like a medical care center, but the word care is an acronym. So CARE is creating amazing recovery experiences. And so we now have the ability to really give a person that's battling cancer not just financial support, but we can give them emotional support and mental support and connect them with physical support, because I get it. I get it. And that was something that I did not know. I didn't see it. And so next level training was literally life-changing for the vision. It literally, next level put me in a position to see what was always there, but I couldn't see it because I didn't understand it. And then I got it. And it's like, oh my goodness. So people battling cancer, it's like, okay, I understand you need financial support. I get that. But let's talk about how you're dealing with what you're dealing with. Let's talk about your emotional. What's your mental state? Are you, you've been diagnosed with cancer. Now do you think you're going to die? Why do you think you're going to die? Why is that the first thing? I'm still here. I had stage 3, almost stage 4. You got stage 2, and it's like, oh man. And then everybody knows I'm a preacher. So I'm like, for me, King James Bible says that by his stripes you are healed. So let's talk about that. You're healed. So let's have a mindset shift. Let it show in our body. Let's make sure that what we speak lines up with what we believe. Let's just do it. So yeah.
I love it. Awesome. So that's such a cool story for you prospering and everybody that's around you. And I love that, so the organization started off as Christians Overcoming Cancer. You've since shifted it to the COC for inclusivity. Yes. Will you speak into that a little bit?
So some years ago, I will never forget. There was a woman named Cindy. I know her last name, but I won't say her last name. This woman lived out of town, and I remember she called the organization and she was like, I'm calling because my best friend, she's been diagnosed with cancer. We haven't been able to pay the bills, and we have 6 kids together, and I just love her so much. And she went on about this best friend. And as I was hearing, I was like, okay. So I said, can I ask you a question? And she said, sure. I said, is she your boo? And she said, what? I said, your boo, your boo. I mean, because you sound like she's your boo. And she was like, well, will that mean that I can't get help from your organization? I'm like, oh no, we don't care about that. We don't discriminate in any way, shape, or form. Religion, none of that. Gender, race, preference, orientation, income stat. We don't judge like that. And she was like, oh my God, thank you so much. You are truly Christians. And I was like, well, thank you. So we helped her. But then as time went on, there were people that would call and they would say like, hi, my name is Amber and I'm calling to get financial assistance because I can't pay my bills. And I'm a Christian. And I'm like, honey, you don't have to sprinkle that in. Because it's not a requirement. And so we started having some conversations, had some conversation with some millennials, and they were like, yeah, Christians Overcoming Cancer, you kind of make it seem like you got to be a Christian. And I was like, what can we do? And then, someone mentioned how the YMCA, because most people don't know what YMCA stands for.
No idea. What does it stand for?
Young Men's Christian Association. Right.
And they have a gay, gay song based on that.
People only think about the song. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They think about the song, and then now the Y goes by the Y. So there's just not that focus on that it's a Young Men's Christian Association. And I was like, okay, if they can become the YMCA, we can become the COC. Ow! Because I say it that way anyway. I said, now there just has to be some artist out there that's going to make a song for us. And,
I love
I'll dance to it.
Yeah. Well, hey, shout out if anybody wants to make a hot pop song or hip hop song or whatever, a popular song about the COC. This is we're asking, we're calling you forward.
Calling you forward.
That's so awesome. Okay, well, tell me about, because this is a special time of year. Obviously, there's a lot of needs right now, especially after this year. And you guys are still doing your great work out in the world. And you were telling me about some really awesome initiatives that you have, some opportunities going on.
So we have two. The first one is our 12 Days of Christmas. So in our case, so we're not funded by grants. We don't get the big grants from everywhere. We don't. Traditionally, we are funded based off of donations. And because of pandemic, the events that we normally would attend, they were all canceled. And so that meant, what are we going to do? Mm-hmm. And the first thing we did was we came up with the 5 Alive Challenge, which is a social challenge where everyone is asked to donate $5 and then ask 2 people to do it and share. We did that all year. And then at the holiday season, we're like, okay, we get to do something different because it's Christmas and Christmas is my birthday. So I want to do something.
On Christmas? That's awesome.
Yes, I'm a Christmas baby. And so the 12 days of Christmas, we reached out to some businesses and asked them to donate some stuff, and they did. And we put it together in 12 gift packages. And they're valued at $100, but it's more than $100 because I just found out today one of the items that was donated is $140, and I was like, oh man! And so these packages are fantastic. So we have the 12 Days of Christmas raffle going on. For a $10 donation, a person gets 10 entries, and it's not just for the one day. So it started. This is day 3. It started 2 days ago. So the people that bought their tickets then still get included in the raffles all the way for all 12 days. And we're like, come on, people, you have no idea what you're missing out on. Oh. So we have, and then we just did it tonight because I finalized things with Toys for Tots, and we're doing Cancer Can't Stop Christmas because we know that when it's Christmas time, especially this year, pandemic is already affecting households. But when it's a cancer household, it's even worse because there's so many other variables. But we want to make certain that the families that have kids 17 and under have something under their tree. And so we partnered with Toys for Tots to make certain that kids have presents. So we're doing Cancer Can't Stop Christmas. So.
Oh, that's so awesome. Awesome. I'm working on getting the links. My internet is doing like a slow thing at the moment, but as soon as I can get those up, I will put them in the chat or I'll put them in the comments if I need to. But hopefully the internet will pull it together here. And I can share those links because man, $10, so simple. I mean, $10. I mean, geez, let's get more than $10 worth of raffles because it's for such a great cause, and your name is entered to be drawn every single day for the next 9 days. Like, how awesome is that? All the way up until Christmas and Mary Jenkins' birthday. So yeah, like let's all join in and support with that.
My kids have always been like, Mom, you never want to celebrate your birthday, and I'm like, no, because I'm like, man, I'm good. I'm so good. But Cancer Can't Stop Christmas. These little kids. And like I said, I didn't really understand the magnitude. I mean, when children are battling cancer, oh man, that's a whole different kind of struggle because mom and dad, they decide who goes to work or if they go to work. And then it's not just the child that's battling, but it's the whole family that's battling. And there's so much. And I'm like, man. And I have always said, there's somebody out there that wants to write the organization $1 million check.
I mean, yes. Yes. How like, let's give a round of applause for that idea. Like,
yes,
that would be
I truly believe it
for you guys. Yeah.
Because we're not just trying to, we're not just trying to make certain that we have a sweet building that we paid $8 million for, or that the CEO is not making 6 figures. I can promise you I'm not. And so we don't have those high expenses because our focus is the people. So we advocate heavy for the people. And it's like, but I believe there's somebody out there that says, you know what? I gave X million dollars to cancer research and they still haven't found a cure. So let me help.
That's so great. So really everybody should be donating directly to the COC. you guys are, it sounds like, I just love how you broke down the walls for every barrier that would be there for people. Like, great, you could be anywhere in the world, you can have whatever need it is, as long as it's verifiable. And by the way, we are non-discriminatory. We are totally open doors to everybody. Like, yes, let's get your organization out there to the next level. And yeah, I'm super excited to share your organization with everybody, and especially during this next 9 days, because right now it's like we've got an awesome opportunity to support you guys. But really, at any point, let's support Mary and your organization.
Thank you.
And it sounds like so. And the majority of the proceeds go directly to the people.
Well, it goes directly to pay the bills for the people.
Yes. Okay.
Because because I know when I was battling cancer, if somebody had given me a check for $1,000 and said, Mary, go ahead and pay your rent. I know I would have taken a check. I would have deposited that check. I would have ordered Donato's that night. I would have got gas for the car. I would have got some groceries. And then I would have figured out what lie I would have had to tell to explain how come I didn't have the money to pay the rent. Yeah. And so since I knew I would have did that, I was like, we just going to help people out. Let's make it so they don't have to tell the stories. We're going to go ahead and pay the bill for you.
That's smart. Okay. You know how people work. Yeah. So that's beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story, your epic story, and how you just stepped into being a giver out in the world, and how now you're actually able to give back to yourself as well, which is so important. And I'm definitely going to make sure that you don't ever get cancer again when you're giving back to yourself, right? Like, you're probably healthier than you've ever been at this point.
At this point, yes, because I'm actually paying attention, and I'm just like, okay, I sleep, because back in October, my father passed away, and prior to his death, from June until October, I was going to the hospital every day. So I was working, hospitaling, working, sleeping, working, hospitaling, working, sleeping. Wasn't trying to eat right and anything, and it was like, then when my father passed, as hard as it is that I miss my father, I love my dad. I love my dad. But my life, I saw how much I was not giving to myself. And I'm like, okay, I really get to take care of Mary now. I get to find out what Mary likes, what Mary wants. And it's like, wow, okay, wow. It seems, because I've always been a provider for somebody, whether it was my kids, then my dad and my brother, or somebody. I've always been a giver and have not been a giver to myself.
Well, now you get to give back to you, and you get to allow others to support you in your incredible mission and what you're up to in the world. It's incredible. So thank you so much for who you are. Thank you for being an amazing community member and somebody that everybody just loves to have around. It was a pleasure to have you on the show and learn more about you, and more to come.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks everyone for watching.